Perhaps the single biggest reason we decided to move to Costa Rica and retire there instead of the United States was because of the cost it takes to go ahead and pay for health care in the United States. Now, the quality of health care that we get in this country is fantastic, second to none. But the bottom line is it's going to cost approximately $12,000 to $15,000 per year to go ahead and pay for health care in the States. We may wind up with only about 7 to 8 years worth of funding before we're out of cash and we're totally dependent on Social Security. While doing research, we found that the healthcare system in Costa Rica is a nationalized healthcare system, much like what people will experience in Canada, in Great Britain, where the government is providing all of your resources, doctor's visits, hospitalization, pharmaceuticals. The national healthcare system, called CAJA, is the system that we would eventually subscribe under. And to do that, instead of paying $17,000 a year in the United States, we would be paying somewhere in the area of about, $960 for both of us, right?
Now, Andy's making this sound really glamorous, but there are some negatives to CAJA. So I don't want to mislead anybody about this. If you're not willing to go to a clinic and not have a primary care physician, there are the goods and the bads of it. You can get some other policies that are pretty inexpensive, and I always say this wrong. I think it's called BUPA.
BUPA.
I said it right this time. And that's another policy that we can get that's fairly inexpensive, but it doesn't do pre-existing conditions. So I think you went back earlier to say you need to do a lot of research on this because it sounds glamorous paying $40 a month for health care. But if you're a person that's not going to wait online and spend all day, just to get a checkup, you might want to rethink and look at the BUPA or look at the INS or some other things. Even if you didn't have insurance and you needed something right away, you can just pay for it. And you have examples of real numbers.
In Costa Rica, if you walked into a private clinic and you did not have insurance and you had to pay for it, you're talking somewhere in the area of about $40. Same thing if you had to go to the dentist. No insurance, you got a toothache, you got to get a filling replaced, something along that line. Again, $30, $40. I checked into 2 procedures that are fairly common in the United States to compare the prices against what it costs in the States versus what it would cost if you had to pay for it directly in Costa Rica. If I did not have insurance in the States, the colonoscopy would cost somewhere in the area about $3,800 to $4,000, while an open MRI would cost somewhere in the area of about $3,000. Now, if I did not want to wait and I wanted immediate treatment, I can afford to go ahead and pay $500 for a colonoscopy or $300 for an open MRI. So if you're going to Costa Rica and you're going there to retire, go there with the expectation that you may have to pay some money out of pocket, but it's not going to cost you anywhere near what it would cost you in the United States.